1.
No? Yes?
Well, that sounds good.
Oh, that'll be fine. Yeah.
That'll be perfect.
I just need the spike from all three of us to sync us up.
Yeah. It'll be close enough.
Absolutely. Uh-huh.
All right.
Close enough for government work.
Well, hello, and welcome to Trangirlismo episode 14. I am your host, Victoria Scott. My pronouns are she and her, and I'm here with my co-host.
Hi, my name is Jordan Hofstetter. My pronouns are she and her. And we have a guest.
And yeah, we have a guest. We've deviated from the norm for a second time on the show and brought on an actual, for real automotive journalist. I'd like to introduce our guest, Matt Farah. Matt.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
I think it's pretty obvious what my pronouns are, but they're he and him. You can have they're he and him. But you 14 episodes in, you're like, if this is going to be a podcast, we need a bearded cis man immediately. Otherwise, we have no credibility. No.
We brought you on because we had to break our streak of only inviting cis men on named Kevin.
We had Liam on last week.
That's true.
That's very funny.
Kevin McCauley and Kevin Williams, the photographer, and then the great Chinese EV whisperer from Inside EVs. Yeah, we're
That's amazing. You have all the Kevins.
We have all the Kevins.
That's so funny.
Matt, you're someone we've wanted to have on from the beginning because one, you were very sweet to both of us throughout our times in industry, and also like you're just kind of, I think, the highest profile automotive journalist who's a real one. Like the moment
that's not true, but very sweet. Thank you.
I mean like a real one as in like I've always respected you, but when everything started going real sideways in California with the ICE raids and everything, when you immediately had that immigration lawyer on the Smoking Tire to talk about it, that was one of those moments where I was like, oh, no. I am correct in going to the mat for Matt. Like you are.
Well, that's sweet. Thank you.
That and the articles you've written that we will talk about are like, it's insane to see in Road and Track. Like, you know, I should probably
mention for people who are not familiar with Matt Farah. If you're not familiar with Matt Farah, he hosts the Smoking Tire, which is a very good automotive podcast that I think is probably the biggest one in the English speaking world at this point. He had a bunch of different video series. He owns a really cool white glove car storage place in Los Angeles called Westside Collector Car Storage, which I've actually checked out, which is extremely cool. And he is an editor at large for Road and Track, right? Editor at large?
Thank you. That's correct. Yeah. And one day we'll learn what editor at large actually means.
I've never been clear either.
It's one of those titles where I'm like, that sounds really good, but yeah, I don't.
It does.
It's kind of my conception is kind of like you're a Ronin automotive journalist, sort of roaming the countryside, searching for stories.
Yeah, like they can't find me. Like that, that's sort of where I think it's at, and actually, probably the most accurate description, actually, of because I don't have to go to meetings or anything, so it's part of my contract. I don't have to attend meetings, so I don't, and they don't really know where I am. But no, it literally, it's actually far dumber than that. Seriously, it literally means you're the editor of the large stories, the big important stories.
Okay.
Like, it's a dumb turn of phrase for a company whose job is to turn phrase.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You know, I should not make fun of my own job title or risk losing it, but
it's okay. Yeah. That's a fun part of having a big podcast than coming to a smaller podcast. Is here you can say all the stuff that would get you in trouble at your day job.
Oh no, I would say this shit on my day job. I say it all the time, but I you're right. You don't see a lot of like leftist in writing in car magazines.
You do not.
Like, no. Yeah, they didn't accept it, but the pitch Brock Yates would have been MAGA, I think it was what I would call him. I was like, gonna fucking, like
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. No,
yeah, of course.
Of course,
all of them, every one of them, all of the legends, everyone that we grew up reading.
PJ O'Rourke.
O'Rourke wrote for National Review.
I've chosen for my own sanity to never look into the politics of Click and Clack, the Tapper brothers. I don't need to know. I don't need to know about the Car Talk guys. I just don't need to know.
One day there's going to be like a Behind the Bastards on Click and Clack. It's some like that actually, I mean, assuming there really won't be, that would be like a fun kind of SNL bit, I think.
Yeah. Well, new InfoWars, which as of maybe last night isn't happening, but that
was going to be funny too.
My wife already got the tote bag.
That tote bag might be contraband, I think now. But as someone who is a former Austinite and was at too many events where Alex Jones also showed up, I think it's real cool that we've invented a new legal system just for the man who would go into the when I was working retail and freelancing still, I worked at a toy store in downtown Austin. There was another toy store north of town that was our heated, deadly rival. Alex Jones went there, which was our point of pride, where he didn't come to us. But after his divorce, he took a rotating string of single mothers to that toy store up north and would just make it rain in terms of like wooden block toys for kids who you don't really like hanging out with.
Dude, you can't. That's like oh my god, what's is it from Kingpin? It's like Big Earn McCracken always takes out like the hot moms with young kids. Like, sometimes I wake up and Big Earn's already there. Like,
that man was running the table on weird, crunchy Westlake moms with iffy politics in the Austin area.
Amazing. So not a lot of leftists writing for Road and Track, but it's hard. It actually is it's sometimes problematic, but I try to not give a fuck. So.
I completely get that. Well, the other thing I was going to say too is just like, for people who are not familiar with Matt, like, you've had longevity. Like, your videos you did were influential on me wanting to become an automotive journalist when I was actively still working in the industry and had a byline. I came on your show to hype my book. Now that we have a podcast after we have been in the industry, you are on our show. So, you've figured out a way to kind of thread that needle. And I think that was part of what I wanted to chat with you about, because you did a recent piece that we called out, I think 3 or 4 episodes ago on here, for Road and Track, kind of about the affordability crisis in enthusiast cars. There was specifically a quote that I really wanted to highlight that I think we kind of founded this whole podcast around the concept of, I wrenched on an endless string of $3,000 cars when I started. That model is dead. Jordan used to do cheap track days in her Miata. They turned her local track into a data center.
Boo. Yeah. That's worse than a housing development.
It's the worst possible world. Yeah, it's RIP Pit Race. The sale was finalized 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's Pit Race. Oh, what a fucking bummer. Okay, all right.
It wasn't a great track, but I didn't hate it. It was.
Yeah, but it's gonna be a great data center.
Yeah, I could play iRacing on that.
You just don't see the future. Yeah. How are the emissions going to be compared to when it was a racetrack? I bet they'll be comparable. Or worse.
It'd probably be worse, actually. Depends on on what your power grid pie chart is for Pittsburgh area electricity, but it's probably not very good.
I was about to say, I think we're trying to fire up another steel mill or two just to speed run the 20s and 30s again. But
we must usher in the apocalypse. The prophecy says that Trump will deliver us.
My favorite just sidebar about the AI power for data centers is that Boom Aerospace, which is a favorite vaporware manufacturer of mine, who's been saying they're going to bring back Concorde basically for the past 10 years. They're like, we're pivoting to AI data centers. We're going to use our non-existent gas turbine engines for our supersonic planes that they have not engineered. They don't have any of these.
Oh boy. You don't want to fly on the
centers.
Titan II supersonic jet?
Using the Mad Catz controller to come in for a landing at Charles de Gaulle.
Yeah, the Titan von Hindenburg's coming in hot.
Okay, one more AI pivot, and then we'll get on to the topic, because Matt, I try not to look at Instagram Reels unless there are a bunch of my dipshit comedian friends who that is the only way they communicate with me. Occasional text messages showing up to my wedding, and then Instagram Reels. What's up with your AI homunculus of like, who's that guy who does all of the like AI videos of the auto journalists on doing
you mean the Angeles
stuff?
The Angeles Death Highway?
What is
it's a guy. That? It's just a guy. It's just a guy.
Okay.
He's not someone tried to make a big deal about like, I know who it is for real. And I was like, I don't give a fuck. Yeah. It's just a guy. But I actually, they made fun of me and some other LA, characters. And some of the writing was kind of funny, actually. I was not offended or anything by the writing or by being made fun of. I was just like, I look thin, that's okay. And so as long as like the general consensus of the internet is that I'm thin now, thanks to AI, that's fine. I can live with that. Whatever you want to say about anything else. But I messaged him, and it is a him. It's the only show where I have to fucking clarify that on, but okay. But so and I said, I think your writing is funny. I am not the least bit offended that you're poking fun at me. Could you make Johnny look a little fatter? And then I said, would you be interested in having me fund a video made by humans? Like you could, I said, you could write anything you want. And no oversight, whatever you want to do, 60 seconds, and get a quote from some animators to make it for, by humans. And actually he did. And animation's really fucking expensive, it turns out. Really expensive.
Sure is.
And but I do think I will throw a little bit of money at it at some point, maybe later this year, if I have a good year. I would do one that was made by humans, and all I want at the end is to say, this was made by humans thanks to West Side Collector Car Storage, and then it's some advertising for the business. Like that's an okay way to spend money on otherwise frivolous things.
There are worse ways to spend money. Yeah.
I will have to have you send me the link to this, because I deleted Instagram a while ago because I wasn't really enjoying it. Yeah. I have no idea what's going on.
It's a dude who makes like AI videos that like make fun of California car culture.
Okay.
That's all. That's all it is. Some of them are funny. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll put it in the show notes. People can take a look. But back to the affordability crisis that you discussed at Road and Track. I'm going to quote from the story that you wrote, where you said, "Now, it genuinely feels, as someone who tests new cars for a living, that there are more ways to spend deep 6 or 7 figures on a new sports car than there are to spend 5 figures on a new sports car." In the same article, you called out that Road and Track, for a while did like the best sports cars, like the 10 best, sports cars of the year comparison, split it out into affordable and kind of like crazy dream cars a while ago, and then had to discontinue that split because there were not enough affordable cars. And this is, you run a collector's car storage place in LA. Obviously, like you've had like the Countach, you've had a bunch of like very like bedroom wall kind of cars, and it's very unusual for somebody who is on the higher end of the car market to be like, hey, this is going to be bad if we don't have like the stuff to start off with. And so I wanted to hear more about your thoughts on that as somebody who drives kind of both ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so yes, I have a few nice cars. And yes, for the most part, my business caters to folks that have collectible cars, although not always. You would be probably surprised at some of the cars that are not actually that collectible that we take care of just because the owner wants a higher level of care. That's my only plug for my shop here. But that notwithstanding, the issues that I'm talking about in that article affect even regular rich people. I'm not I like a thing I would like to like make pretty clear is that like regular rich people should be more solid with the lower classes because they're actually much closer together than like people that own mega yachts and things like that. And so not like I'm saying like I want to be more man of like I don't know I know what I am, right? But I'm just saying like in terms of systems, right?
Yeah.
What you it's one thing like okay, there's more billionaires and so you have more hypercar companies like Pagani and Koenigsegg and I like cool stuff. I like cars that go fast and look like spaceships and can do amazing things. Like I'm a gearhead. Like I like stuff like that. And I have a lot of respect for the people that design and build that type of stuff. Like I get it. I get why people want it. And I get why it can cost so much money.
I remember specifically when I was at Motor One, my boss went out, Kyle, he went out to review the new Pagani at, what was it, the Utopia? And he was like, this is like the greatest car ever. Like, it's a pity that they're probably going to sit in garages. But I remember it, like some of them actually do seem like they're really all they're cracked up to be.
Yeah, I mean, some shit's amazing. I mean, most of it is. Most of the time, not always, but most of it's pretty amazing. And so okay, fine. But what's a bummer is when you have your car makers that make both regular and super luxury cars like Porsche, and car makers that are really known for like regular cars like Ford, really shift their product line to target the upper bit of the quote K-shaped economy. And back in the day when like the holy trinity era of cars came out and the Porsche was, it's the first most expensive Porsche ever and the first McLaren over $1 million and yada yada. We all know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
And I went, oh man, I hope they don't figure out that like they could build a car for everybody, or they could build a car for like 200 people and charge like 100 times as much. And that's actually an easier business model. Like if you already built sports cars, then building like a super crazy hypercar for like 500 people is way easier than building a mass market product for a few thousand people.
Yeah.
Or a truly mass market product for 50,000 people.
Yeah.
Building a Mustang is way, way harder than building a fucking LaFerrari.
Yeah.
I mean not the specific engineering of it. I mean the idea, the business model successfully developing a car, building it and selling it and distributing it to tens of thousands of people.
It's the same reason we don't get like small cars in the US either, is because like it's once you're building a bunch of cars, it's easier to just make it bigger, charge more for it. Profit margin per car is so crucial to the auto industry that like that's part of the reason we don't really have a lot of small affordable cars, is because why would you justify spending factory time labor hours on a car that you're making $5,000 on when you can build a truck sell 500 fewer of them and make $10,000 more on each one. Like this is the
Or-
crux of your argument, and it's just like endemic to every layer of like the auto industry. And the high end stuff is kind of where it's like obvious. Like last episode we were talking about like the new what was it, the 911 GT3 convertible. Now it's like
Can you smell the profit? You know that they actually, did you know this, that they reverse engineered a Cadillac Escalade to see how to maximize profit out of a vehicle to build the GT3 cabriolet. Porsche finally learned something.
I can't tell if you're doing a bit or serious.
I'm doing a bit. They rearranged for maximum profit.
You did deliver that so deadpan, and I was like, 911 convertible, 911 GT3 convertible, I would believe that. That feels a little, that we talked about how it just felt a little craven to be like, hey, let's take the hardcore stiffened up sports car and just lop the roof off.
Well, and not make it just a speedster. I think that was the other
thing.
Because
that's a different homologation, right?
Yeah.
So they, to make the GT3, it's like they could make it without designing new bodywork because each of the bits they already had. Like the doors are from the ST, but the top of the rear is from the regular cab, and then the lower bit is the GT3. So with a speedster, they have to design an entire new rear end and a new windshield and a new roof structure. With this, they already had all the bits. They just put them together in a different order.
Yeah,
which
is a very GM thing to do. Yeah,
it'll drive great.
It's the most GM thing to do. Yeah.
It does feel like Porsche is starting to feel the pressure of all of the markets that aren't that top end. Like I don't see like what Macan sales cratered. The electric Cayenne's not really doing it. Like doing the speedster, and then what? They sold their stake at Bugatti Rimac, right?
Well, I read their profits were down 95%, which, there's a few things happening there. I mean, mainly it's just the money they lit on fire by converting entire model lines to EV and now having to like backtrack. Like that's just like, wow. So I don't know about that being like a pure reflection of sales, but also the MSRPs are pretty wild on every new Porsche.
I didn't realize that you couldn't get into a base Carrera for less than 6 figures these days.
Oh,
I feel like the last time I looked, they were still.
I think it's like $125,000. It's like way over 6 figures. Yeah.
My wife and I are trying to find a new 2-car solution for ourselves, and we want an EV, probably used, because that is the number one bit of EV game that you have driven into me is buy the nicest thing you can used at the time EV wise, because just let someone else take the depreciation hit. But also it's like we wanted a nice-ish sports car, but it's like in the 5 figures range, like what do we want?
That's a problem.
Like
and as like from whatever angle I look at it for, I mean, look, as a consumer, for the most part, I'm not buying brand new 6-figure sports cars. I happen to have 1, 3, but I'm not the target for most of that. For the Lambos and the Ferraris, I'm not a target for that. But as a content creator, I'm in the consumer advice business, and making YouTube videos for the 1,500 people globally that can afford one of these cars is not a great business model for me. I don't get paid, and so the videos do better when people can afford the cars.
Yeah, your Singer video wasn't sound. It was a great video, but your Singer video wasn't sound consumer advice. Like
there used to be. I mean, if you go back like not 15, maybe 10 years. You go back maybe 10 years. People would watch stuff like that because out of an experiential thing. But I just think the vibe, and I feel it too, not as the content creator, but as a person who's not like a billionaire, the vibe has shifted a little bit towards like toys that you'll never be able to afford. It's sort of like, who gives a shit? That's where we're at.
Well, and I ran into the same problem from like the other side of things, sort of when I was like reviewing cars and giving consumer advice. As I remember, I got it was, of all things, it was a Ford Explorer as a test car for a week, and it was 50 grand. And I was like, I don't even know people who can afford to have more than one child, much less people who could drop 50 grand on like an SUV that needs like a family hauler. Like, it was very difficult for me to envision kind of the mindset of like what these consumers would be looking for. Because for me, like, and there's another story that I was going to end this with, which is, the what car should I buy kind of thing. And it's like, I don't know. Like, my answer to everybody who asks, hey, what car should I buy? It's like, hey, do you want a hybrid? You should buy a 10-year-old Prius. Do you want a not hybrid? You should buy a 10-year-old Honda Fit. There are obviously changes to that beyond that, but like, that's kind of, it's very difficult to imagine somebody with 50 grand or $500,000 or whatever, to spend on this
so
stuff.
weird because like I have a foot in both of those worlds.
Yeah.
Like I have like best friends that are like out of work and really struggling and driving 20-year-old cars.
Yeah.
And I have like best friends that are like actual billionaires. And I have to like be in both of those worlds and like be myself authentically. And both of those people sort of are okay with that, which is but when I on the show, I try to like realize like when I'm talking about a car that's $30,000 or $40,000, you can hear me sometimes go like, I know this is real money, and but in the scale of the shit that we talk about in this show, it's at the lower end. So, and I'll have people be like, or I'll see them at the racetrack or some event, and they'll be like, like, you said that thing on the show was 25 grand. Like, that's not a lot of money. It's just like what it costs. And I'm like, yeah, but you're fucking rich as shit. Like, if so, for someone that has if someone has $500 in their bank account, I might as well be talking about going to space. So it's like when you're talking about cars or you can't avoid talking about what the car costs, and you can't avoid talking about that people can't, for the most part, afford it. And some have so much money that they're like that they don't even notice that other people can't afford it.
Yeah.
I feel like the first time in my life, I really, I was the person driving the 20-year-old thing, but like I was friends with everyone who both helped own and run the Petrol Lounge in Austin, and I got invited.
Oh, those are nice people.
They're great guys. I love them dearly. I miss them dearly. But yeah, it was every now and then I'd be talking about a problem I would have, and I would get looked at like I was a space alien, because one of them was just like, well, why don't you just go see so-and-so about this? And I'm like, because you made $250 million last year, and my tax return as a freelance writer and student said $15,000 last year. Like, and they were just like, all right. And I'm just like, yeah, like I like sweet people never judged me for it, but I just did see the gears clicking of like, oh,
wait,
right.
Yeah.
Like,
and this is part of what I think from like the bottom end of it has been frustrating, is because like I think most people, generally speaking, are, and this is kind of how I was about like this initial era of like the Porsche 918 Spider, the McLaren P1, the LaFerrari, that like initial wave of like $1 million cars. I did kind of treat them as sort of like interesting science projects. I did watch a lot of videos about them. I was psyched to see them in person because they were like genuinely like interesting from an engineering perspective.
Oh, and
yeah. I
drove a 918 last year. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah,
great.
I spent like 30 hours drawing a picture, like hand drawing a picture of one for a friend of mine. Like I thought it was a very cool car.
That's cute.
Yeah. But like
they've aged shockingly well. I mean, really shockingly well. Yeah.
But like at that point in time, I was rotating through my endless cast of like $3,000 cars that I could largely like afford to wrench on. And that was kind of like, we would go to the same meets. I would get to check out their stuff. They would get to check out my stuff. And there was kind of like even if our approaches to auto enthusiasm were very different, there was kind of a mutual agreement. I mean, like when I came on your show and I did the book, the whole book's point was like, we have this sort of community melting pot of a lot of people from different backgrounds, different income levels, different interests, engineering or racing or whatever, that kind of all can agree that like we really like these cars. This is sort of what we do this for, is that we just share this passion. And I think that from the bottom end, part of the reason that the really expensive stuff has become upsetting is just because like it's hard, you can't find the $3,000 cars anymore. Like you can't.
Well, yeah.
And like, yes, if you count for inflation, like my original Supra I bought 10 years ago should be $6,000 or whatever, but I don't know people who have like doubled their income in the past 10 years. You know what I mean? Like it's very rare.
And actually, there are some cars that are better value compared to like inflation than they were. It's not necessarily the fault of all car manufacturers and all cars that are like doing their best, but like people's wages and salaries have just not caught up. So
and like housing, healthcare, etc. It's all stuff that's kind of outside of the industry, but it's sort of like one of the things we did an episode, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, where it was like we're an automotive podcast, but we had to talk about the war in Iran, because it's like, well, gas is now here where I am in Seattle, it is $6 a gallon for regular. It is like it feels like kind of this sort of ever marching crisis of every aspect of American life has finally made its way to like this hobby in a way that is very difficult to ignore. And so seeing somebody who's like, yeah, this is a problem for all of us, not just, it was an article that grabbed me, I think also partially again, because like you mentioned, Road and Track does not tend to publish a lot of stuff like this.
I think Dan and I think, historically, you're right. They haven't.
Yes.
But I think if you look at the people who run the magazine now, they would be much more it's not hard to figure out why they're willing to now.
Yes.
I think we agree on many things, me and most of the editorial team anyway. But yeah, I don't know if the deal with it Brock Yates would be MAGA column. I don't know if they're gonna let me piss on Brock Yates' grave, but
I will say I have one of my friends at Motor One gave me an original copy of the Cannonball Run book, like that compiled all the stories, because I did a story a couple of years ago about how I thought the Cannonball was kind of silly at this point because police have largely
I remember that. Yeah.
And so I read through a bunch of it because I wanted to do research, and I was like, some of the stories, especially later on after I do the first one, I was like, whoa, this is rough, man. This is very not like
great. Hasn't aged well at all.
No, it's very easy to see kind of like where the Reagan era came in to sort of that sort of American id, and it was like, oh,
freedom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I like also like Hunter Thompson. One of the best. One of the best writers to ever live. Probably.
To be fair, he really, the thing is that makes me think that he would have good instincts now is because he absolutely could not fucking stand Richard Nixon.
I mean, you know what? Now that I said that, and you
the Nixon
really
thing
bring
gives
up a
me
very excellent point. And I read Fear and Loathing on the Campaign Trail too.
I think the Campaign Trail ones are the best. Yeah.
Yeah.
Later in life, though.
It does feel like we're kind of. It would be interesting. There are a lot of like my one that I always go back to is like any kind of like British sci-fi author. Douglas Adams is always the one that comes to mind, where I'm like, I am so sad that he passed well before his time, and I love his books, but also I'm really glad I don't need to know what he thinks about British politics today. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
I never needed to know what his thoughts on trans people were, and it's very good that we kind of dodged that bullet.
Yeah. Better off not having that not be on the record somewhere.
I think the only Thompson thing that I still use as like a guide stone for my own thoughts is that like September 12th ESPN article about like the party is over. And I'm like, I think when I first read that, it was during the Obama years, and I was like, come on, things are gonna get better forever. And now it's just like, you know what? Maybe the old man still had some points.
And then you later go and you read his like daily regimen that writer. My first editor at first The Drive and then Road and Track was Mike Guy. And Mike Guy, he was the editor at The Drive, and he went to go Road Track, and he brought me to Road and Track. He was Hunter Thompson's personal assistant. Like,
really?
That was his,
really?
Yeah. And so, and he's sober now, but he was not then. And you can, I mean, just imagine,
my God,
we're hanging out, and he's like, so, this one time Hunter pulled a gun on me, and it's like every third story is like fucking completely insane. So yeah, that's fun.
Yeah. On a I was gonna segue this neatly, but I've failed to, because we tend to do that. Generally on the show, we also discuss contemporary news from a oh my god, what are they doing perspective, because it turns out like we launched this show in January, and it's been a very good year for making fun of auto companies' very baffling decisions. So
some very normal earning calls lately.
Yeah, so it is. I'm just going to say this. We're recording this April 30th. I know there's going to be a bunch more Rivian news today, but I didn't get a chance. I don't think it's actually even out yet. Their full earnings call hasn't been disclosed. But we did find out.
For the record, I haven't seen the news today, and I don't listen to fucking earnings calls. So you guys, I'll just go along with whatever you guys are doing on this one.
So Rivian
this is what Victoria does for fun, Matt. Like that's she just loves this shit.
I like being a well-informed hater.
Listen, that's the best kind. Best kind.
We found out that Rivian sold 42,247 vehicles in total last year. And for that, they paid their CEO, RJ Scaringe? I'm not sure. I only read the word. $403 million.
Jesus Christ. Seriously?
Yeah.
Yeah. Chad, friend of mine, fellow auto journalist Chad Kirchner, put it nicely in a Blue Sky post where he was like, that works out to $9,539 for every single car they sold last year.
Do you guys know Zwart? Do you know Jeff Zwart?
Yes.
Yeah.
We crossed paths, chatted a few times.
Lovely man. Legend. And he did most of Porsche's advertising photography in the 90s. And this was like when they had like no money and were like about to go out of business.
Yes.
Right. And he said that in like, I think it was like 1998, he said that every Porsche sold in North America had like $4,000 of Jeff Zwart photography built into its price. And up until right now, that's the worst deal I've ever heard of from a car company paying a human.
Yeah.
I'm happy for Jeff, but
yes.
Fucking hell. $400 million.
$400 million. Victoria, does that number include their like fleet sales for Amazon? Oh,
that
no,
includes the REV van.
Wait. So, and this is compensation, or did RJ like sell a bunch of stock or do some other thing to make money?
So it is a $373 million of it is a stock option package, which is structured the same as Elon Musk's deal, right? Where it's like he becomes a trillionaire if he hits specific targets. So basically it's like, hey, if you can juice the stock price, we will reward you handsomely, but you gotta like deliver on that. Now the reason that it's kind of funny is like I think he brought home like, I want to say it was like $30 million in cash or $20 million in cash. Still quite a lot, but a lot of that is options. The part of it that's funny to me is that like, so Rivian IPO'd at like $100 and it's currently sitting at like 15. So if you were trying to be like, oh yeah, you're doing great with the stock price. Part of the reason for this is that Rivian lost $3.6 billion last year. And the only thing it actually improved on, and this is a company that's, now in its fifth, sixth year of existence, going into selling its third, product ostensibly like next week, basically, with the R2. The only thing they actually sold more of last year was software and services because of the VW deal to do the infotainment and do software service packages for other car manufacturers. They sold fewer cars and they made less money out. They made more money on the fewer cars, but it still worked out less overall. Right. So the R2 is in production and is supposed to be in people's hands again, in a week, basically late spring. So I take that as basically.
I think they'll sell a good number of R2s. I think the whatever the last 6-8 months is the lawless lull in that company's existence since they launched, right?
But it's been pretty bleak. The thing that's crazy to me, right? So the R2 is supposed to be sub 50K. That was the big selling point. But the launch edition is going to be 58. It takes until middle of next year to get to have them actually plan to sell one that's sub 50K. And the issue that Rivian had that a lot of other EV manufacturers didn't is Q4 last year was awesome for most EVs because everybody was racing to their dealerships to buy whatever EV they were going to get before the tax credit expired.
Yeah.
Except Rivian. Rivian saw no sales bump because their SUVs are so expensive that basically everybody who already bought one, and the tax credit wasn't that big of a motivating factor for people who were going to buy one. So I don't know. I mean, I feel like this whole thing works out too. Are you familiar with the drill candles tweet, Matt?
No.
Okay. There's a very.
I don't use Twitter for my mental health.
That's entirely fair. This is
good for you.
This is a oh my god, it came out in 2013. This is a 13-year-old post from the meme account drill poster, whatever.
I do know what that account is, unfortunately.
It is.
I wish I didn't.
Food, $200. Data, $150. Rent, $800. Candles, $3,600. Utility, $150. Someone who is good at the economy, please help me budget this. My family is dying. I feel like Rivian is doing this, and instead of candles, it is RJ Scaringe.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was giggling earlier because can you imagine someone bailing out of their Lucid Air purchase because the tax credit went away? There's a portion of the EV market where I'm just that credit shouldn't have applied. I don't know, not to means test people, I guess, on the top end, but
no, the tax credit should have been for cheap EVs, not for fucking expensive ones. Yeah.
I think the R2, I know there are a couple of my wife's coworkers have R2s on pre-order or whatever. I don't think Rivian did the Tesla, let's take a deposit 25 years in advance for the Tesla Roadster or whatever, but which we talked about last week. Pat, how many things in your life have happened since they announced the new Tesla Roadster?
Holy
That's
shit.
just a fun game
so
we've been playing.
17?
It's 17, buddy.
Right?
Yeah.
Woo! Well, I got engaged and married. All my previous cats passed on, and my replacement cats are all adults. I built a house from scratch. A few things. Yeah. My sister got married, had kids, and divorced.
It's people have lived entire lives while that deposit has just been sitting in Elon Musk's bank account.
No,
it's so
at a
funny.
certain point, that's just fraud.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm sure the current government, the DOJ, will get right on top of that one.
The crime is legal government. They're going to be right on it. Right, they're going to be right on it. As long they're going to investigate as soon as you wire 12 Ethereum to FBI.bitcoin.gov.
Well,
Cash Patel needs it.
So Cash Money
so you can
Patel.
stay awake at the so you can stay awake at the next correspondence dinner.
They're just rescheduling that, by the way. Apparently,
They
Are you
are.
serious?
The Guardian. Did you see who the Guardian interviewed about that?
On coke?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
the most just. The Guardian interviewed John Hinckley Jr. about the shooting at the course. Because I'm like, I guess he's the subject matter expert of trying to kill the president at that Hilton.
Dude, who? Imagine the production meeting. Guys, hear me out. This is all right. Hear me out on this one. I got a guy, San Quentin. He can get John Hinckley on the phone.
I
know agents.
He's on parole.
Yeah, I know John Hinckley's out.
He's
because out. One of my friends has one of his original paintings hanging on her wall.
Oh my God!
Because he's an artist. He paints. I swear to God.
Don't buy murderer art. Just don't.
Hey! Attempted murderer.
The guy who didn't make Sondheim's Assassins. That was one of those things where, because I remember a couple years ago, people were like, he was on parole, and I guess he's a singer-songwriter. That's not my first credit I would give him. But he was like booking cafe gigs, and then someone like, hey, do you know you're booking the guy who shot Ronald Reagan? And they were just like, well, I don't know. He plays a pretty good acoustic folk music. He's no Mountain Goats, but like, you know. Victoria, I just scrolled down on the notes a little bit. That's the worst thing I've seen about Rivian stock.
I was gonna say the one other thing on the subject of dodgy experts being chiming in on and potentially dooming things. As I was researching this episode, I found out that like a week ago, Jim Cramer recommended buying Rivian stock. So I expect him to be delisted in about 20 minutes.
Yeah. RJ's he's not gonna get that money that they're allocating him.
No. That's the fun thing where it's just like that stock is worth that money now, but like as soon as he tries to turn that into money, what number does that actually become?
And
this dude brought proper security to the ice race at like a place in Big Sky surrounded by billionaires. He brought like big security.
Wait, Jim Cramer or RJ?
No, RJ.
Like Jim Cramer was ice racing? That's Victoria.
Jim Cramer was at the ice race. Oh no. Just screaming. Just rolling his sleeves up and screaming and pressing buttons he shouldn't be pressing.
I mean, Jim Cramer does seem like he's got the kind of the sort of attitude to be a terrible gentleman racer. You know what I mean? Like he's the kind of guy who would absolutely like wreck on lap 7. Blame
what if he had a son that started karting?
Oh God.
You know, real problematic.
I feel like the Strolls might be exiting racing here sooner rather than later. We need a new billionaire scion to
right.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, Lawrence Stroll has done a nice job with Aston Martin's road cars.
They have done a nice job
with the road cars.
We routinely on this show talk about how bad we want to buy like depreciated Aston Martins.
You should.
That's basically our kind of like, if the podcast ever does real well, you know, the there will be signs is going to be like in my apartment parking spot a Rapide.
Yeah. You really want the S, trust me.
Victoria knows this. Matt, how do you feel about a used C8 for a 5 figures car? This will go into
used Corvette C8. I feel very good about that.
I haven't driven one yet, but I drove. I have the privilege of a lot of miles, like 200 miles behind the wheel of a 458, the car that they tore apart and I've made my peace that 458s are $1 million cars for some fucking reason or whatever.
I think the C8 is a superb approximation of a 458, although without the Revy engine, but that's fine for the money. If you can afford it, I'd really recommend finding a Z51 car that does make a difference.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But hell yeah, they're great.
I think
how shitty of one do you have to get to be able to afford it? Is it a pretty shitty one or not really?
My dear wife is works in tech and is doing spectacularly.
Nice.
Also, my parents
Palantir.
No, thank God. She wouldn't be able to look at me or herself in the eyes, I think.
Yeah. She also wouldn't be able to listen to me on this podcast.
No. Well, she would be listening, but not in the way that you would want her to be listening if she worked at Palantir. My wife vaguely works in industry, company name redacted. But she's doing. We're both doing okay. I feel the pressure of, and I think you've talked about this in the next article we're going to talk to. So I was trying to make this segue good. As someone who, I sold my terrible NA
Hang
Miata.
on one second.
Yeah, of course.
Second. Excuse me, you two.
All right, it's an official Trangirlismo episode because we've had a cat interruption.
Oh, I mean, sorry if I had to mute myself when Beepo was busy throwing herself over my shoulders again.
This is Cricket.
Hi, Cricket.
Can you hear her growling?
Yeah,
she was being a little growly. Because her brother was being a shithead. Do you guys need to go outside?
This is
need to go outside. They're hovering. Finn is hovering. Monty is over there.
Oh,
and
I
then
love
Nikki
that.
is under the.
I love that shade of green.
Oh, the kitchen.
Yeah.
Do you guys know Sarah Trimble and Webb Bland?
No, I know Sarah.
I know of Webb Bland.
They designed our house.
Oh, incredible!
Cool.
This is a Sarah Trimble and Webb Bland production.
It's a lovely kitchen. We where cats.
Yes,
it's everyone's cat has made an appearance. I saw Bert beep through herself over my shoulder. I feel there is a pressure since selling the Miata, because I sold my Miata because I don't have wrenching space at our new place that we bought, because it's a Pittsburgh row home. Of course, it doesn't have a garage. And our street is slanting on both sides. So I don't know. I didn't want to die underneath the Miata. I think that's a pretty bad way to go.
Corvettes are great. They really are. The C8s are really nicely made, and they're fun to drive, and they're a ton of car for the money. They really are.
I just I do feel now that we're doing the show, though, that I do have that pressure as someone who is a, for lack of a better word, content creator. I do feel the pressure that I need a fun car to talk about and make stuff with. Like, it does feel odd that like the one car that we have is a Nissan Sentra, because we like that it gets 40 miles to the gallon on the turnpike,
Yeah.
Your Sentra has no cred. You need I understand. You do need a sports car. Not only that is a business expense that is tax deductible, 100%. And you will have things to talk about. I have multiple projects going at any given time, just so I have something to talk about, and also for taxes.
Your two most recent babies, the Manx and then the Mercedes you're having built. Yes. Your taste continues to both surprise and
what? Wait, which was the Mercedes? I think I might have missed that.
My wife's aunt, Liz, gave us her 1995 E320 Cabriolet.
Ooh,
And
okay.
my neighbor is this Armenian lunatic named Shant. Has a company called CMS Motorsports, and they do these like crazy AMG and like Euro tuner sort of projects. And it's a fabulous body shop, all metal, beautiful work. And so I thought about what to do with this car, and it was a clean car, no rust. It had been sitting outside in Long Island for a while, but it's fine. And so we thought, like, what if we make the 500e Cabriolet that Mercedes never made?
Okay.
Yeah. So the body will look like a 500e that Mercedes made. We've already done the flares in metal. We have the
Wow.
bumpers and all
Okay.
that stuff. Yeah. And then the problem is the M119, which is the actual 500e motor. A isn't actually all that good, and B is huge. It's a big motor, and so instead, what we've done is we've bought a 2002 E55 as a donor car, and so we're doing a powertrain swap complete. So engine, trans, diff, the whole thing. So it's going to be the 400 horsepower and a 5-speed auto.
That sounds extremely fun.
Yeah, it should be
E55s
cool.
are just like continual fonts of parts for other projects. I had E55 brakes on my Supra.
Did you really?
Yeah. I had
the donor car
Brembos.
was still $6,000.
Yeah,
Oh my
I had
God.
reman Brembos off of an E55 2002 E55 because they bolted right on with some machine spacers.
Yeah.
And I kept cooking the brakes because it was so heavy.
Yeah.
This is like that. I miss this kind of stuff a lot because I personally I live in Seattle. My wife is a barista. I was an auto journalist for a while, then was unemployed for a bit. Now I'm doing this. So I take the bus. So I do really. I'm hoping to get back into car stuff. I would like if the current moment of instability would perhaps pass, so I could budget.
Yeah.
It's difficult to be like, what am I going to spend every month on a car when it's like, well, gas might be $10 by July. So
Right.
That's kind of tricky.
Okay.
I just had a very surreal moment where I was racing at Road America this past weekend, which is just as amazing as you think it is. In Wisconsin, and 91 octane at the track, at the the Sunoco, like 100 feet from start finish, was 577. And 91 octane around the corner from my house in LA is like 690.
Even with the racetrack bump, it's
the racetrack
God.
tax, the crazy racetrack tax couldn't even touch California.
Coda's not a public track anymore. This isn't good consumer advice. I was about to say the Sunoco at Coda actually used to be super reasonable for 93 in terms of gas stations in Austin. Yeah. If I was like attending a track day or covering a race or whatever, if that Sunoco was available, I'd be like, can I just sneak in here to fill up my Mini real quick? or like my terrible 944. I'm like, can I just fill that huge tank real quick at Coda?
The same thing happened to me like a couple of years ago when the Biden era fuel spike happened. I happened to be at Sonoma, and their fuel, they hadn't adjusted for it or whatever, and the fuel at Sonoma Raceway was cheaper than the fuel at the pump just outside.
Yeah. That does, but there was another story you had written recently that I also really resonated with, that we've hinted at, but the stop asking me what car I should buy article for Road and Track, I got a chuckle out of, because as people who listen to our show and your show probably know, we're all insane. So the cars that I'm like budgeting for are like not vehicles I would tell anybody else in the whole world to buy. I doubt, Matt, that you would probably tell the average person who asked you, hey, what car should I get? Should I drop a E55 V8 into your aunt's old convertible.
Well, no, like it's not, and it's a delicate dance you have to do because it's not the issue isn't don't ask me what to help you buy a car. Please ask me to help you buy a car.
Yeah.
Just don't ask me what I would buy.
Yes.
Because you haven't thought of the thing I would buy, and you don't want the thing I would buy.
Yes.
Unless you want something like deeply stupid, and not normal and whatever. So that it was more I was asking Dan Pun, my editor, like, how do I write this without sounding like an unappreciative asshole? And I think once I changed it to more of like a guide for how to ask your local professional to help them help you.
Yeah,
it's
well,
there were more,
and there are examples in there of like, hey, I'm X age with the X budget, and this is my need, and like I want something that's relatively like that's a very different question. What car I would buy, like because for all of us it's going to be something deeply deranged. But this did make me think.
The funniest is if someone asks you which car would you buy between car A and car B. And one of those two is a car you already own.
Yeah.
So that's the craziest shit. What car would you buy between your Spider and a 911 Cabriolet? And I went, well, funny enough, I chose between my Spider and all other cars, really, and I chose that. So does that answer your question? Like,
you do have the best spec'd RS Spider of that generation that I've ever seen.
Oh, thank you.
I do love that. I remember when your first one sank because I was working at the drive when that happened.
R.I.P. Pour one out for the Felicity Ace.
No, but
there are a bunch of Lamborghinis at the bottom of the ocean. And listeners, if you donate to the Patreon, we're gonna go salvage. No, absolutely.
No, I told you. Is that you? Oh, a guy emailed me. Oh, a guy emailed me and legitimately was like, "We're gonna do a salvage operation," and I was like, "Are you?"
Didn't the boat like burn before it sank?
It did.
Yes.
Yes, for days.
I was like, are you do you understand what a lithium fire is? Like, what do you expect to recover?
Like, they were still burning at the bottom of the ocean. That's how it works. Yeah.
Look what's happening right now. I have cricket and I have two cats happening. There's a lot. And by the way, those were the two that were fighting before. Do you want to come back? Yeah.
I only have the
Monty's here.
The one cat, but she's fucked off
now.
Just like but
out. We go outside now. we go out.
Yeah, Beep Beep does just need to throw her entire self over my shoulder like a little baby once an episode. So,
yeah, no, but I was gonna the number one thing that I remember being vindicated about is you and I both love the Integra Type S. Because that was like my favorite car I ever reviewed, and I remember checking your review, and you were like, "This thing rocks," and I was like, "Okay,
great."
Cool. We have converged." But the thing that made me curious is like, obviously we're all crazy, and have like very strange taste in cars. So the thing I wanted to ask you is, what is your favorite like sub $10,000 car that you've driven? Like, if you can even go like sub 5K and like use your whole obviously not new, just like something
pretty cheap.
Something that like somebody you found on Craigslist or like a friend of yours. Like, I remember the video that you made that got me like thinking about auto journalism from a different angle when I was young. It was when you reviewed Cora's RX-7. If you remember that, the car.
Yeah.
And that was like,
if I remember that.
I'm just saying, it was,
yeah, sure. That could be it. There was a guy I drove. I mean, I don't know if it was on whatever, but it was in Chevy Colorado that he put like a huge fucking turbo on, and it would do burnouts up to like 90 miles an hour, but it looked totally stock. Like that was pretty cool. I've driven quite a few like, 90s Hondas, and I don't know how much they cost, but like some of them things fucking rip. I mean, really fast. I mean, a great Honda. A great Honda is a wonderful thing. I did my first ever endurance racing in a Honda Civic Coupe, and it was fun as hell.
What did you? Was that like a Lemons car, or like where'd you
It was a Lemons car. That was a Lemons car. Yeah.
There you go. That's $500 right there.
Oh,
guaranteed.
Probably.
Never more money than that ever spent on a Lemons car.
Matt, you know Steph, right? Steph Schrader.
Of course, yes.
Yeah, she has been whispering in my ear again that I finally need to go race Lemons.
You should. Have you raced anything before?
Not nothing other than karts. Yeah. Like I haven't raced. Like I have enough track time that I know what I'm doing without like embarrassing myself, but I haven't done like wheel to wheel. I just
well, Lemons is a good place to start.
Yeah.
If it's a good place to start because it's chaotic. And if you get through a Lemons race and the chaos that is a Lemons race, and then you go do like a champ race or an AER or a lucky dog, which is like a bump up from Lemons, it will be like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like
what series were you racing with at Road America last week?
We just did WRL, which is like a bump up from that. So like there are some cars at the bottom end of WRL that could race at the high end of champ. And there's some cars at the high end of WRL that are like full on GT4 and X IMSA cars.
Okay. Yeah.
It's some the top classes are pretty fast. We were in like a middle class. That's the only place that exists now anyway.
Really?
No, you got
the middle class
in racing.
Oh god damn it! I thought you meant
place the middle class exists.
I thought you meant you could that series at Road America.
No. There's
god damn it! I need more coffee.
This is just the there's one more thing that wasn't on the notes that I just wanted to throw at you, Matt.
By the way, before you, I'm so sorry to interrupt. Before you,
can
I just you have to give for whoever's listening. The person who funded our racing at Road America and at COTA last year and at the next race that I'm doing is Sergio, the immigration lawyer.
Oh, hell yeah.
Gee, what a guy.
Sergio, the immigration lawyer who appeared on my podcast, his son is like so fast.
Oh, cool.
So fast. His son is insanely fast. And so he wants to be pro, and they're down to have folks like myself out to race with them in order to come places like this and say that Matteo Siderman is fast as fuck in a race car.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
We're of course going to throw that episode of the show in the notes as well, because I do think people should listen to your show regardless, because I think it's maybe the best podcast about cars in a with folks with access, not to denigrate our own lovely little program here, Victoria. But no, that is so cool that he was also funding those endurance races. But speaking of COTA, how are you feeling about going back to like the enthusiasm for those of us not in the millionaire or billionaire class? All of these tracks are going club private. Like
is COTA going full private?
COTA is everyone I knew that used to like help run track days there say that they are not being allowed to book events outside of this year. 2026 is the last year to race COTA or drive COTA without like being a club member or like
Are they going to have race? They're going to have racing though, right? Like series will be racing there. Oh, well, that's unfortunate. That sucks. Part of the reason that I'm down with what's happening at Willow Springs is their commitment to keeping the track open to the public. I think if it was going full private, I would be pretty soured on the experience. But because there's enough room for there's 3 tracks there, and they can, on any given day, have one for members, one for a track day, and one for somebody filming a commercial or something. And if you're there for the track day, it wouldn't feel any different as it does now, except that it'll be much nicer because they'll have the money from the memberships to make the track, safer and better. So I think to have a track like Coda go full private, really, if that's what they're doing, is an unfortunate hoarding of a great resource. I understand if someone wants to build a brand new track and make it private, but it's a bummer when it's like a real destination track that people travel from all over the country to go drive.
Yeah. Like, before we had Miami and Vegas, like, it was the F1 track in the US that you could go. Like, I don't know. Were my lap times good in my terrible little NB Miata? No, absolutely not. But I was on the F1 track doing those corners.
What were they? I won't judge.
Oh, dude, I had like three subs. Like, it was not fast because most of it's down the back straight.
It started with a 2 or a 3.
It started with a 3. Yeah, like
okay.
Through a lot of the like quarters, it's a Miata. I can carry speed, but like front straight, back straight. I'm just sitting there. Like
Do you even use the brakes at the end of the front straight, or does the hill just do it?
The hill kind of did. I saved a lot a brakes. That's a downshift twice.
It's real easy. It's real easy on your brakes, that track. Do you achieve terminal velocity on the back straight?
A little bit.
You did, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Top of 5th.
I convinced Dodge to give me a fucking Durango Hellcat to drive to the Road America race, and I needed to haul all of our shit from the airport, but also I wanted to run some practice laps on the HPDE day, and it's Road America, so I saw 136 miles an hour at the end of the front straight while braking it like the 10 board because it had like .3 brake fluid that boiled after like 2 stops. Oh, it was a disaster.
It was that same track day that I was at there with the Miata. A buddy of mine who is like a deep McLaren guy, like he was just like to hop side seat with me, and just the speed differential on the back straight alone was just, I'm like, oh, we're going 100 miles an hour faster at certain points in this, like, then the tracking's so like I'm in the Northeast now, so it's like all of these tracks that I have, like, if you're in Texas, getting to any track that's like, in Austin, like Harris Hill still exists, thank God, because I love
Harris Hill. Great value.
Harris Hill's great. Shout out to
track down there.
Shout out to everyone at Cobb Tuning who let me crash their track days because they liked me. You drove that insane Orange EcoBoost that they had.
I did. I like Cobb a lot, but that car wasn't great. But
it was only great because it would spin the wheels through 3 gears with the traction control half on still.
Yeah, it was okay. It was okay. I like Cobb. It was a long time ago. I like Cobb.
That was a long time ago.
You don't want Coda to be private. That's a shame. I understand that the economics of it don't necessarily justify track days sometimes, but that's why I think that's the hybrid model or whatever. And I certainly don't mind if there's a club within a racetrack where it's 10 days are for the club and whatever 20 days are for whoever rents it.
Absolutely.
I think Thunder Hill does that.
Well, I know. I mean, Thermal didn't exist before the club, right?
Thermal is for the club. Yeah, no, I think you have to buy a house to get in there, and the whole deal.
Really?
Yes, you have to buy a
I
house.
think
Like
to buy a property and then commit to build a house on the property to get a membership there. I believe you do.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess that is a logical extension of kind of the country club format. Because that is
it's
they
just
used to
as
do with
well.
golf
It's so
courses and
far
stuff.
in the middle of nowhere. You need a house out there.
I mean, Coda is doing the same thing where they are building. They're calling them car condos, but like you could sleep and live at Coda now if you are so disposed.
Sorry, my doorbell just rang. 1 second.
You are
Excuse me.
so
Sorry,
okay.
pause.
Yeah.
Come in.
Oh, cat in the sunbeam.
Yes. I don't know how long he's got, so I'll probably wrap it pretty soon.
I was thinking that. I just wanted to talk about the track thing real quick because I was on the tip of my tongue talking about stuff. Yeah, we can wrap.
Sorry, guys.
No, you're okay.
Sorry. Okay, cool.
All right, and then we know you are a very busy man. So, is there?
I have like 10 minutes. Is that okay?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah, we were about to just say whatever. Is there anything that we've kind of touched on today or wrote a track wise that you want to plug or talk about before? Before we
I'm not here to plug. I'm here to hang out with you guys. Whatever you want.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll obviously post all the links and stuff in the show notes. But yeah, I really appreciate it. Like, yeah, the coming on your show and getting a boost for my book was actually really helpful with that.
Good.
Brian and I both appreciate it. Yeah, it was great. Thank you.
And then, I remember it was the before times for me, but it was at that. Do you remember that terrible bar in Austin, Posse East?
Oh, vaguely, maybe.
Yeah, it was kind of off campus, but you,
was
Mike
I there?
Yes, you, Mike Spinelli, okay. Patrick George, and Steph were all trying to give me advice as the freelance market started to fall apart. And I just remember,
how many are still working in freelance? Just me.
I mean, to be fair, how many different outlets has everyone else gone through in that time? No, you've always been such a sweetie and like so good to younger enthusiasts, younger folks trying to get in the industry. And yeah, you continue to just stand up for what you think is right, despite getting higher and higher profile gigs in the industry. And that's why, I know you had to ask someone if it was a compliment when we called you woke Joe Rogan as a joke, but like, I do think your podcast is both a very, I still listen, but like it is a very healthy form of masculine car culture in a way that
thank you. Non-toxic masculinity.
Yeah, genuinely, yes.
Yeah, and that's like why our listener base is more cis male than I would thought for a podcast called Trangirlismo. Our demographic
because the name is good. It's a very good name. It's a very good name.
It was us texting back and forth at 2 a.m. going, what the fuck do we call this? Like,
do you think, here's a question. Do you think you can trust your demographics? Do you think it's like people's Google accounts or whatever might not match their gender identity?
I tend to get a lot of like responses from people, and I would say that of the like people that get reported by Google or Spotify or Apple Podcasts or whatever as like falling into the male category, probably about 2/3 of them are like actually just genuinely like older dads or whatever who are like either they have like a trans kid or they are generally like pretty progressive. And I would say the other third are people who've probably emailed me and been like, I'm like, give it like 2 years, and like,
or like I haven't got around to like backdating my fucking Spotify account because who gives a shit?
Who gives a shit? I was going off with the people who email us, as I am the one who's usually coming through our inbox. But Matt, having you on
that's very kind of you guys. I'm not sure I deserve all that. I just try to be nice to people, I guess. But
it's really, I mean, I think part of it is like having worked in the industry and seeing the I think for me, one of the things that actually really made me disillusioned and part of why I quit was because I used to go to auto companies and I would do like pride talks and I would do like these big, employee resource group discussions about like, how do you make trans employees or queer employees feel included? And watching all of those companies in October or November of last year, or
like burn it all.
But just destroy it, rip out all that.
Yeah.
And then watching all the people who I, kind of considered to be friendly immediately clam up and just be like, okay, I'm not doing this. And the fact that you have continued since then is deeply meaningful because it is less common than it should be. And it is something that I think is how we fix things is if people actually like continue to do things that are, they have harder conversations with their editors and they have like, if you have a platform, you use it for something good. We try to do that here. You do it there. It's why we like.
And you know what's funny? Like someone asked the other day, because I was on one of these road and track experiences things that we do, which are these like road trips people can sign up for. They're pretty fun, actually. They're a good time. But someone, it was a person who knew who I was on the trip, and their wife did not. And he was, oh, honey, he does this podcast and it's about cars and this and that. And she said, oh, you don't talk about politics, do you? And I was just like, look, like politics, it comes to whether you can, if you can live in like fantasy land and not talk about politics, like maybe like a Magic the Gathering podcast could probably avoid politics, or
you'd be surprised.
Right. Actually, that's probably true. But driving is political. The type of cars that we drive, what powers them, the width of our roads, the shape of our parking spaces, where you have to pay for parking and where it's free. I mean, any of that shit is not just naturally occurring. It's those are all political choices, and those decisions will come for everybody, sooner or later. I mean, even I think you talked about this for Bloomberg, right?
It was that story. Bloomberg? It was like the interview with Bloomberg about like urbanism. I want to say.
Yes. Yes. David Zipper. Yes. Zipper. Very, very, very nice guy. I debate him all the time. He calls me on my bullshit all the time. There's a guy called A.R. Moxon, who I think is one of the best writers writing today. He has a newsletter, but he's also written a couple of books. And he wrote an amazing piece. There was a series of essays called Streets, and it's basically about how the interconnectedness of our world. And imagine, among many other things, like you have the biggest house and the biggest blah, 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 but like no roads. Your house doesn't like connect to anything else, and like the value that is delivered to you by the network of things that we have is greater than the value that you individually deliver, the other way. And so it just so happened that this guy I loved happened to be writing about a thing I knew a little about, which is the fucking roads. And those roads were planned by somebody. They're there for a reason. Your house wasn't put there by accident. Someone decided that a house should go there. And so it's just a whole, connected system of stuff.
It's nice to hear somebody with a good sized platform talk about it, because having seen
it's important.
Having seen the auto industry over the past like 5 years, I got into it kind of like as the hype for EVs was probably at its peak, and everybody was like, we're going to be cool and we're going to do diversity initiatives and we're going to build a clean world. And then watching all that collapse has been I'm 30. It was probably about time for me to become disillusioned, but boy, it has been disillusioning. But it does make me appreciate when it doesn't happen sometimes,
It's so fucking funny. Everybody kept telling me that I was going to become a Republican. Like, oh, you wait, and you have a business, you have a house, and you're going to, because I'm from Trump. Not like MAGA land, like quietly destroy the economy land, Greenwich, Connecticut. We steal from the poor quietly in Greenwich, Connecticut. No, because like I went to high school with the children of the worst people imaginable. The Sacklers. I went to school with their kids.
What?
I went to school. Oh yeah, everybody who wrecked the economy in 2008. I went to school with all of their kids at Rye Country Day School, plus the Sacklers, plus Janine fucking Pirro, Judge Janine. Yeah, I went to school with her daughter. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Dude, the worst people imaginable. I went to school with all of their children.
So here on this show, we have a thing we like to call the shapes place, which is when you have to do this after taking in damaging information to your sanity. That's absurd.
Oh, God.
I also went to Penn with Ivanka Trump.
I did know you did, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did you study photography, or is that me misremembering an old podcast bit?
I studied photography at Penn. Yeah, that I shot those. That's Tupac. That's Tupac, Suge Knight, and MC Hammer. I shot those when I was 12 at a Knicks game in 1994.
Those are great photos for a 12-year-old, man.
Yeah, fucking boss. You should have seen seventh grade. I brought that into photo one. My teacher was like, "What the fuck?" Yeah. Yeah. Not bad framing for. I would have framed this one a little better today.
But
I would say 12. If you look at my shit from when I was 12, it's like I took a picture of a flower in my parents' garden.
That was the only portraits I ever took. I went to landscape and photography and architecture after that.
Yeah, architect. I'm a big architect. Well, we should have you back on in the future to just talk photography.
Do the photography show. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Sure. I'm gonna run, but it's been such a pleasure.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Let's do it again.
If
you're in LA, come say hi. Don't be a stranger.
Will do. That is a podcast.
Thank you again so much. Appreciate it.
Hey, it's just Vicky this week. The logistics of recording with a guest and also merging together all of our audio tracks sometimes gets to be a lot. So I said this week I would handle reading out the names. So it's just me. I hope that's not too disappointing. I wanted to shout out and thank our $15 and up subscribers for helping support the show and helping me pay rent. It would help if I actually had this up, even for having prepared this beforehand. There we go. Okay. I would like to give a special shout out. Thank you to... Where are you, Mary Barra? I just want to talk about Spark EV replacement batteries. If we have her on the show, I promise you I will ask. That is the guarantee for your money, is that if we can somehow convince an auto industry executive to come on, I will ask them any ridiculous question you put in your username for your subscription tier. Special thank you to Theodora Constantine, John V. Special thank you to Buick, Adam Shepard, Stephen Duckworth, Phelan, Mildly Perturbed, Asherin, Chris Hepner, Jerry at homogameragenda.com, Dexus, Will, Princess Reese promises not to bark at loud noises, which I hope at this point you're getting better at not barking at loud noises. Emma Alex, allowing infinite characters for usernames opens up novel opportunities for creative trolling, such as forcing people to read a book, and then it stops. So you think it gives you an infinite number of characters, but I'm pretty sure that's like 255. So it does cut you off. I hope if you would like a refund, let me know, since I could not read the entire B movie script. Thank you to Nathaniel Hubble, Wingsmith, Penile Sparing Vaginoplasty, Gadrianne Lenker, Sylvia, Finn Springs. Thank you to I Think the Recording Just Crashed. Thank you to Gavin G. Wiz Reviews. Thank you to Crystal Storm, John Russell, Josh J., and Selectric. As always, thank you so much for your support. It means a lot. I hope you enjoy this week's episode. And we will be doing our bonus episode on Rush, not the prog rock band that was hugely influential in my teenage years, but the movie about Ayrton Senna with a bunch of people from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Probably like this weekend, maybe. So stay tuned for that. Thank you again so much, and I hope everybody enjoyed the show. Bye.